everybody. It is so good to see you and to be seen. Hope you're having a great day. We are here with another sponsor spotlight for one of our sponsors, the EP Mixer, the Texas Executive Protection Professionals founder. Boy, that's a lot to say over a short period of time. The TEPP founder, Mike Gonzales. Mike, thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, Craig, thanks for inviting me.
Man, it's all my pleasure. I'm so glad that you agreed to sponsor. I don't think there was much prodding that I did, but obviously there's a bit of a kindred spirit I feel in that we are talking about like the Texas Executive Protection Professionals is, it seems, for networking. Like that's obviously a big chunk of it, but without putting words in your mouth, tell us a little bit about it. Tell us more about it than I'm doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you the textbook definition up front, and then I'll tell you my short version. So
Please do.
TEPP in general is it's a Texas-centered security professionals networking group. Our focus is to make connections, build relationships, and create opportunities, helping those professionals within the industries of executive protection, close protection, corporate security, personal protection. Because you and I both know EP touches so many other industries, right? You can be sometimes EP and then full-time security director, or full-time EP and then sometimes driver or investigator or threat assessor.
Right.
So in general, we just really wanted to kind of focus on Texas and this region, particularly in the executive protection networking.
That's awesome. That's and the as you I'm sure as you discovered, uh, so many people would come to you and say, we really needed this. We need to do more of this. Because in my experience of having of events myself and me, Craig, in a past life, and then to things like the mixer, it's always so well received. Has that been your experience too?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you and I had some candid conversations before I even had this, and
Yeah.
so kudos to you, and I'm glad we're talking publicly. Is you were a big help, man. I mean, I reached out to you, and you're fully transparent with guidance and telling me some do's and don'ts and a few pitfalls. So, that was probably a luxury you didn't have when you started EP Mixer. So, tip of the hat for you for that, Craig. Thank you.
Well,
But
I
yeah,
appreciate
no.
that.
I do appreciate it, seriously.
Sure.
But yeah, absolutely, and you learn a lot about yourself too when you start hosting these events. What you're comfortable doing and what you're not so comfortable doing, because you don't really have a choice, because you've already popped the bottle.
You're it.
So you've popped the bottle. You better start pouring glasses.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've heard everything from, why don't you take this on the road and do it in here and do that. I'm like, Texas executive protection professionals.
You put
So
the which clearly you put there was thought into it, like, because even when we talked before, that's where you were. It's I
right.
want to focus on Texas, so why? So you put it right in the name, and like you really kind of plant a flag, so to speak, to for that. So good on you for that. So I know why. I know when I look at networking and why do things like you do. Tell me, why did you decide to do this? Why do you do what you do with TEPP?
Yeah, it's a great question, but I would say because no one else was doing it, you were doing it nationally, but no one else was doing it here in the state of Texas just for Texans. And by the way, TEPP isn't just for Texans. If you have an EP company or a security firm, in any of the other states, and you're doing business in the state of Texas, TEPS opens your arms to you. So it's one of those type of organizations, but no one else was doing it for the state, and it was kind of I wanted to be the first to market to do that and be a Texan in Texas doing that for Texans. So that was kind of the main reason why. But I didn't really choose the business. The business chose me. It's a true story. I got out of the Marine Corps in 2007, and I had no intentions of being an executive protection agent or going into the industry of executive protection or close protection at all. When you're in the military, an infantryman, and you're getting out, you're getting close to getting out. It's either go be a cop, a firefighter, some sort of first responder. And I knew that's not really what I wanted to do. And I kind of tagged along with someone on an interview process at Gavin DeBecker. And this was like late 2006, early 2007 in Burbank. And, kind of gaffed my way off a little bit through the interview and just kind of, yes, no, not really. And I didn't think it was for me. And they called me back and the process kept going. And the next thing you know, I was like, I really actually like doing this. And I just kind of got promoted through the ranks, and it ended up being a lifestyle change for me. But yeah, that's what I meant to kind of tie it up is the business chose me. I didn't really choose the business. It wasn't like I was seeking executive protection to be my career. It just kind of fell in my lap, and I've been running with it ever since.
Right. And I think you probably, and I'm sure you've had those conversations with other people, and a lot of times, and I just can't speak for every other industry, right? You don't know, but it's like you somehow we all landed here, right? And it's like, what happened? And which is, I don't mind, but it's just like, how did we all get here?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just that did an interview. They called me, hey, listen, we need a guy to cover to make sure that door doesn't move. Roger that. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it's like, hey, what else do you do? When else are you available? And then you are. So let me, I'm going to press you a little bit more on this. So with TEPP, it was just the need, or you saw a void and wanted to fill it for your, I guess really what comes down to your statesman, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like I understood
Yeah.
that at the beginning, right?
Yeah, that's part of the reason. The other part of the reason was just over a glass of whiskey last December and just thinking stuff. And true story, I had some crypto and my wife had been hounding me about selling it. This was last year when it was taking a complete dive.
Mm-hmm.
And every day you'd open up the laptop and you see just going down. And I'm like, oh my God. And my wife said, I don't care what you do with the money, pull it out. You're done. I'm like, she's the CEO of the house. So Roger that. And so I was like, anything? She's like, anything. I'm going to have a party. So I took that money out and I'm like, you know what? With inspiration from you and kind of a little bit from IPSB and some other friends I met, I'm like, why don't I just host a little party? I mean, networking, mixer, and just kind of morphed into that. So I took that money from the crypto, put it in a down payment at La Cantera Resort in San Antonio,
Mm-hmm.
and it covered it. And I was like, wow, this is really kind of snowballing into something else. So we made the announcement mid-January, I think, and we executed the mixer on March 23rd. So all within the first quarter, we were able to get like 113 people registered. 66 people showed up, which is, you have that attrition rate, which you told me about.
Yep.
But for just kind of throwing some shit at the wall and seeing if it stuck, it was pretty good. It was a great turnout and more than I imagined. So there's definitely an appetite for it. I didn't realize there was this much of an appetite, but I guess I've kind of just taken that lead, and I've got the guide on, so I better keep running.
Well, right. Yeah. So you're not quite sure. Now, I don't know that if we did talk about that, of me kind of help guide you like, okay, you're the one, here you go.
Yeah.
But that's no, but that's great. So, well then, so considering all that, like what have you found has been the best part of either the process or just why you're there? Like what stands out to you is like, wow, this is really why I do it.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're asking, and an all around net positive for everyone. So if you show up and you just have the intention of just having drinks and whatever, and you end up meeting someone and becoming friends, lifelong friends, or just drinking buddies, great. If you show up and have a drink and you exchange a business card, and 3 6 months or a year later you get a call for a contract, great. If not, you just show up and meet good people and network. So just having a net positive all around. There's no one harmed in this, and that's what I really like. I really like to get people together and just have them network and meet and establish relationships and build rapport. So that's one of the coolest things I've seen. I've seen a couple emails come back and forth and say, "Hey man, I ended up meeting this guy at your mixer, and he's going to do a contract for me." Or, "Hey, I met this other guy or whatever, and I'm sending him my resume, and it's looking good." I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
That's well worth it. That's meaningful connections. So that's really what I wanted.
Yeah, agreed. And I've gotten to, I shared that experience, right? I love that one thing that I've learned, right, is that networking is such a place to learn because you don't know what you don't know, and you're in a room full of people that are kind of going the same direction, but they've come from this way and this way and this way, and they've had these different experiences, whether it's through training or professional past or some story, or you're able to relate on some level and listen and sit and listen to them and oh man, like here's how that could work for
Right.
me or for my detail or as part of it or to share with people or hey listen make sure you tell that story a couple times because like that was meaningful and so it's just it is networking I think is overlooked is looked at as it's, how do I put that it's overlooked as a learning potential or a learning opportunity because it's like, well, I'm just trying to get business or I'm trying to get business. Like, what's in it for me? But if you can give and then take what people give, whether it's business or not, and apply it to you, like you might save yourself a year or 10 years in a mistake they made or an experience they had that then you can then capitalize on and either doing this or not doing this. And I think sometimes people miss that point in networking. And so I always try to like, just sit and you telling a story spawn that is like, yeah, let's make sure that we're learning while we're there too.
Absolutely.
So now we're going to kind of take a little bit of a left turn, but this is just again, we're just trying to get to know TEPP, but we're trying to get to know Mike. So if you weren't doing either TEPP or your full time work, um, what is it that you think you would be doing?
Man, that is going through the questions. I think that's the hardest one for me to answer because I really don't know. And I say that because I'm not a planner. My wife, she's the planner. Okay, we're going on a vacation. 3 weeks prior, her suitcase is out, her dresses are laid down. She knows what she's wearing each by the day, by the hour. I'm the guy the night before, man, throwing stuff in a suitcase or whatever.
Asking
So
where we're going?
yeah, asking where exactly, where's my
Yeah,
passport? I don't know.
yeah, right, yeah,
Which
yeah,
which believe it or not sounds a bit sounds a little out of character for being an EP guy.
right.
But I work well under pressure, and so I've always kind of like I said, going back to how I got into EP, was like right up into the edge when I was getting in the Marine Corps. I'd had nothing lined up, and it kind of fell into my lap, and that's just kind of been my trajectory in life. So I really don't know. I mean, I would have to like, and not saying I'm going to quit my job or whatever. I
Right.
have to get to that delta,
Sure.
man, right
Yeah.
to the edge to really go, okay, now the pressure's on me. I have to make a decision. Which way do I go? So I
Right.
really don't know. I'm just that type of person, man. I don't like to commit until I know all the options.
Right. Sure. That's funny. It reminds me of my brother. He's the same way now. He's been in police work for a really long time, and so he kind of has a plan.
Right.
But he's also the guy like he'll take it right up to the edge and like now I
Yes.
need to make a decision. Like
Yeah.
I got all this time. Used to wake up to my mom screaming at him because he forgot to write a paper, or or in the middle of the night he's writing a paper. Mom's like, "Why are you writing it now?" Well, it's due tomorrow. It's 10 pages. What are you doing? He's like, "I didn't need to be done until now." So how am I going to? And so anyway, I
Does
can
he execute though?
Oh, he's chief of police now. He has come through the
Oh,
ranks. He's done all kinds of things. So,
there
yeah,
you
I mean,
go.
well, and here's the thing: it's like he was he gets results. So it's hard to like, well, you should do this. Yeah, but I don't
Exactly.
need to. So it's like,
Exactly.
all right.
Yeah.
So that's what I hear when you tell me that. So
It drives my wife nuts. Trust
yeah,
me.
yeah,
We
right,
are yin and yang for sure, but
yeah, yeah,
it
right,
all balances each other out. So
for sure, for sure. So, like, where can people hear more about you, learn more about you, more learn more about TEP? That's again Texas Executive Protection Professionals. Where can they learn more about you?
yeah, so right now we're kind of starting on at our base model level, right? So we've got a LinkedIn page and TEPP, Texas Executive Protection Professionals, and Instagram, and it's both the same handle, TEP, and then spelled out. So look forward to we're gonna go launch a website probably Q1 of next year, but this year is really just kind of the litmus test. We're taking it easy. We're just doing a March and October mixer. That's kind of our plan.
Okay.
So those two are going to be our landing sites, LinkedIn and Instagram right now. So
Okay.
mainly that's it for now.
Okay, cool. And the October one is
Yes, October 14th,
okay.
Angel Share Bar in Houston, Texas. It's downtown Houston. So this time I didn't really arrange any type of room rates or anything like that, because when you're at the bar, it's a stone's throw to any other hotel. There's plenty of them
Sure.
downtown. But this bar is definitely unique to Texas. It's all historic red brick, kind of like a cathedral ceiling. It's been around since the 1800s. Definitely a different venue from our first one here in San Antonio, but I guarantee it's going to be bigger and better, and look out for it. And also, our cadence with TEPP, like I said, it'll be twice a year. So March will always be here in San Antonio where it was founded. And in October or sometime in the fall, generally October, it's probably going to rotate. So this year we're doing Houston. Next year it'll be between Austin or Dallas or El Paso. We'll just have to see.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, and then also too, so you have that coming up, but now are you will you be at EP Mixer during GSX on the 12th?
I'm planning on it.
Okay.
Whataburger's got me traveling, open new restaurants all over the country. So if I'm not, in the middle of a drive-through line directing traffic for burgers, then I'll be there. So, but I can't commit to it yet. But I definitely will be at IPSB in December. So we'll have to have a beer there if we don't see you in Houston.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Cool. So, all right. Well, listen, Mike, that's kind of it. That's all I got for you. I really appreciate you taking the time. It was fun. We went a little long because anytime I start talking about networking, it's hard to shut me up. And then with it, talking to another guy who loves networking, the poor crowd had no chance. But hopefully they got some value out of it. So again, thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Craig.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.